about Angie content. Like, didn't this guy literally used to have like a straight up Nazi program?
And when he can't call Muda Islamophobic because he's Muslim, he pulls Muda's race card on his behalf.
Has actively played a role in the we should get Hassan deplatformed train. Extra weird considering that he, you know, went to the Hajj, did the Hajj, went to the Mecca. The fan base that he's trying to cultivate desperately dehumanizes him, or at least the people that he aligns with legitimately hate Muslims.
Most importantly, we get to finally debunk the idea that I take Hassan out of context.
There are a million different instances, including in the clips that he clipped out of context,
while proving he takes everyone else out of context.
Just the other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about, and he fired him because they had a disagreement, and that's like so Trump coded.
Well, he was like a moderating voice in the war room.
Yeah.
The person that they're talking about is Yoav Gallant. The person that they're calling a moderating voice said this, which is the reason why there is an active petition, an active application for a warrant for his arrest by the ICC.
We're talking about the fact that he's the only person that wants to end the war. And I personally don't understand how that's not relevant. But now people like Hassan are going on their channels and accusing us of supporting a war criminal.
That is not a good guy. I'm sorry. It's not. And it's like shocking to see Ethan say this stuff.
How do you not know what he's talking about? Isn't this what you do? Ethan corrects Hassan, and Hassan doesn't get back to him, just letting people believe this false story.
Ethan climbed a video of you talking about this. Yeah.
This video catches Hassan in his lies and holds him accountable for his low quality reporting. It's like we could do better than this. We could strive for higher quality, like Holskern, who makes specialized watches and jewelry made from natural materials, giving them a really unique design. Like this watch made entirely out of wood. How did they do that? It's so cool. Holskern is a watch and jewelry brand for both men and on every video.
Give it up, boss.
Videos agrees with me, and everyone who makes bad videos criticizes me.
It's weird. All the good YouTubers who put a lot of thought and effort into their almost academic paper level researched YouTube essays almost always happen to be, you know, in the Hasanabi side of the things, and all of the worst drama pervert, Keemstar adjacent, orbiter, weirdo fucking losers who love hyping up pedophiles and Nazis. Those are the guys who always hate me for some reason, you know?
Instead of watching me directly, Hassan watches Bad Empanada react to me. He needs backup.
Oh, dude, Bad Empanada went from bad to good Empanada. Bad Empanada went from bad Empanada to based Empanada.
Like, this is your champion? Okay, I'll respond to both of you. The first thing Hassan criticizes is me going after his poor coverage of the Al-Ahi hospital bombing.
IDF didn't bomb the hospital? Yes, it did!
Does this guy provide any evidence that he didn't bomb the hospital? No, he doesn't. He just insisted it didn't.
What makes it significant was just how poorly Hassan handled a breaking story at the time, speaking as if he had any insight and demonizing everyone who believed in any other expert's opinion.
IDF didn't bomb the hospital? Change title? IDF didn't bomb the hospital? Yes, it did! Yes, it did! Yes, it fucking did! You fucking piece of shit! Yes, it absolutely did! Fuck you! Fuck you! You genocidal scumbag!
It is still unconfirmed who bombed the hospital. Hassan claims he was just repeating what most news outlets were saying at the time.
BBC and every other fucking Western outlet had also obviously arrived at that same conclusion early on in the morning. Why else? Why would they not arrive at that conclusion? It makes no sense to be like, oh, this must have been a rocket misfire.
He repeated the same thing in our conversation last year, claiming he was talking to forensic analysts.
I was talking to open source intelligence people and also forensic analysts. That's what I was doing, and I still do.
But if you go back to his stream, he wasn't talking to anybody. He just read tweets.
Now, here's Evan Hill, working as a forensic investigator at the Washington Post.
This guy did not say it was an Israeli bomb. He repeated the same thing that everyone else did. Hassan just ignores it.
IDF blames Islamic Jihad for a failed rocket launch which hit the hospital in Gaza. You think that there is not proof for this?
He blamed the BBC and Geo Confirmed for his poor reporting.
One of the things that I'm sure you didn't mention was the Geo Confirmed Twitter thread.
But if you go to the last 40 minutes of his stream, Geo Confirmed corrects the story, and Hassan still writes them off.
Oh, here, by the way, someone making fun of the final conclusion of Geo Confirmed. So a missile exploded in midair, and then a piece of that already exploded missile hit a hospital and killed hundreds of people. This is the absolute dumbass that you guys are putting forward as your conclusive analyzer, okay? God damn it, brother. Jesus Christ, that's how stupid stupid. I was literally repeating what the BBC coverage was.
If you use the Wayback Machine and go to October 17th on the BBC's website, the BBC clearly reported that that's what Hamas claimed. On the day of the bombing, Hassan was mad that the BBC made this distinction, calling them racist.
Love that they keep saying Hamas-run health ministry, like it's not the fucking health ministry. It's ridiculous. Like, oh, Hamas-run health ministry, well, you know how they are. You know how those dirty Arabs are. They lie all the time. You know what I mean? They're probably lying again.
Hassan, while reacting to my video, still lies about it to this day.
The funniest parts about our conversation when this dildo came on the stream was when he didn't even know that, like, my reasoning originally for why Israel bombed Al Ahly was because, one, Israel had bombed the Al Ahly hospital 2 days prior. Two, Israel had bombed a whole bunch of places, including other hospitals that they've forcibly evacuated at that point. And three, BBC and every other Western outlet had also obviously arrived at that same conclusion early on in the morning. Why else? Why would they not arrive at that conclusion? It makes no sense to be like, oh, this must have been a rocket misfire.
But they didn't. You were mad at them for not arriving at that conclusion. That's why you called the media stupid and racist.
Is there a fucking moment where Western media will be honest about this? Like, I know we are cruel here in the West. I know we have done so much. We've done so many awful things, like so many unconscionable things. But I really, really thought that there would be at least a little bit of clarity from the media.
Hassan has rewritten history to every news outlet agreed with him at the time. Not true. And that he had all these credible sources. Not true. He was just browsing Twitter.
Never cites his sources. Hassan only goes on Twitter. These are some of the most common, like, things that you hear from people.
It's literally what happened. Go watch the stream. He does the same thing when I criticize him for promoting Russian propaganda.
As far as Ukrainian invasion, I've never been for invading Ukraine. All the NATO defenders have just so successfully been like, nah, Hassan loves Russia. He has always been on board with Russia invading Ukraine. It's just not true.
I'm going to put this to bed once and for all. Hassan has never outright said that he supports the Russian invasion, but he has routinely repeated Russian talking points about how Ukraine is full of Nazis. The whole country is on the verge of becoming Nazis.
The reason why a small amount of nationalist forces gaining prominence is additionally terrifying. It's like Tinder, okay? It can cause a wildfire of nationalism because it's already baked in to the attitudes of the commoner, okay? Every person already has like a predisposition towards nationalist tendencies. So the issue is when you start legitimizing the nationalist guys, boom, all of a sudden the country could turn fascist like that, okay?
He watches this clip and lies about its context.
Commoner, okay? Wait. This, he said, wait. Dude, I can't. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm right. This is me criticizing Vladimir Putin.
No, it's not. He does not mention Putin once. He says this like I can't go watch his video and prove I'm wrong. It's from him reacting to the Grebels Institute's video saying Ukraine is full of Nazis.
So fucking weird to be like, oh, dude, like this is unimportant. Oh, dude, it's only a couple Nazis. Oh, dude, they get so triggered when you talk about the Nazis in Ukraine. And oh, dude, there's only a couple Nazis. Like, who gives a oh, dude, there's Nazis on the Russian side. Okay, we're not fucking training them. And we're not giving them guns.
It wasn't a criticism of Putin. It was a criticism of the United States and Ukraine for letting Azov fight.
The problem is that, Western forces have been beefing up otherwise a fucking very, very loud minority. Like a very, very loud minority of people who would normally be inconsequential, ruining the opportunity for Ukrainian leftists to even push back against the Ukrainian Nazis, which they normally would, because now everyone's hyper-focused on, what Russia is doing and how to deal with that.
Not once did Hassan blame Putin.
Every person already has like a predisposition towards nationalist tendencies. So the issue is when you start legitimizing the nationalist guys, boom, all of a sudden the country could turn fascist like that, okay?
So no, he never blames or mentions Putin. It's the beginning of a pattern where he just says my video is out of context and then fabricates a reality that doesn't exist.
This is precisely what I was talking about. This is me saying Vladimir Putin's unjustifiable invasion of Ukraine will actually develop and grow the nationalist movement. That is the whole point. They're too stupid to understand.
He then pulls up a tweet he made on the day of the invasion saying that as if that absolves him of everything else, which is part of Hassan's strategy. Well, he will say every political position once and then retreat to it when he gets criticized for spouting Russian propaganda. Hassan was saying all the way up through the war starting that it won't happen, but if it does, it's the West's fault.
Focusing on this topic right now, when Russia will imminently invade Ukraine, resulting in many civilian deaths, will lead a number of chatters to wonder if the war is at least partially justified. Okay, dude. This doesn't change the reality that, like, the fucking tensions have been rising as a consequence of the United States gearing up exactly in the same way that they did in Afghanistan, though. That's the point. Imminent invasion, the imminent invasion. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? To a certain degree, does Vladimir Putin want Ukraine? Maybe. Regardless of whether he wants it or not, he needs it as a buffer state. Exactly. Exactly.
When the war started, Hassan repeated that NATO was the aggressor, validating Russian propaganda.
What the fuck are you saying? 2 days ago you said NATO imperialism akin to Mexico joining Russia. That is the same still. NATO is still an aggressive expansionist imperialist force. America saying that they're gonna let Ukraine join, we have an open door policy, is bullshit, because they were never actually going to allow Ukraine to join NATO, because if Russia invaded Ukraine as easily as it did just now, then it would be fucking World War III. Russia invading Ukraine like this is to show the rest of the world why Ukraine can't fucking join NATO.
He was saying that giving Ukraine munitions was pointless because they already have guns and that we should give Russia a favorable deal.
They have boots on the ground, and this guy's like, oh, we're gonna give him guns. We'll give him more guns. Dude, they have guns, bro. They have guns. There is literally nothing you can do in this situation. Either you go to all-out war, which is impossible because Russia is a nuclear power, and that would mean nuclear holocaust, or you have to suck it the up and get to the table with them and come to an agreement. This conflict does not get resolved without talking to Russia, without having Ukraine and Russia at the table and having a conversation and trying to put together an agreement that is going to be incredibly favorable to Russia.
He spewed off propaganda so regularly that he had to put text on the top of the screen that said Putin is bad, just to remind people he wasn't pro-Russia. Now suddenly you can't criticize Assad. He wrote it on the screen. He references this text as his defense to this day.
There are some other points. No, Hassan supports Russia. No, he doesn't. He also raised 200K for Ukraine. Hitler, which by the way, Vladimir Putin is bad. Look at the sign. Actually, sorry, I forgot we elevated that to Vladimir Putin is very bad.
The full context of this clip is Hassan addressing people for saying he's adopted the Hitler appeasement strategy.
If you've ever talked about any kind of like, oh, this is appeasement, Vladimir Putin's like Hitler, which by the way, Vladimir Putin is bad. Look at the sign. Actually, sorry, I forgot we elevated that to Vladimir Putin is very bad. From bad to very bad. Look at the sign. Then you have to go to war.
Fast forward to today, and Assad acts like he never owned these positions. Guys, I was just stating for a fact that Russia now does own Crimea.
Call Crimea? I call it a part of Russian territory. That's what I call Crimea. I call it Crimea River. Crimea is a part of Russian territory. It's just true. It is annexed by Russia.
He's lying about the context of this clip too. It's him justifying the Russian annexation.
Like, I got fucking liberals schizo posting on the timeline about an inevitable invasion, okay? Like, just actual fucking land war in Ukraine. All of this stuff. And I was 100% right. And now, liberals who literally said, no, Russia is gonna do this, Russia is gonna do this, Russia is the bloodthirsty psychos at the door. What happened, dude?
He was so widely known for having these positions at the time that Dylan Burns, an actual on-the-ground journalist that was in Ukraine, would show everyday Ukrainians these videos and they'd respond to it.
Russia annexing its own territory that it's had, that its own territory full of its own people, is not the same as NATO being like, we're gonna turn your country into a base and put little military bases and rockets into your country.
Most offensive thing, and it's its own territory. Excuse me, what is Ukraine even? So this is the imperialist talk for supposedly anti-imperialist leftists who is like all about fighting colonialism and imperialism when only the West does it.
He's obviously not anti-imperialist, right? Because
he claims he is.
Well, he claims a lot of things, but he claims he cares about Ukrainian lives too, which I don't think is true.
Like that you say that they should secede territory to a fascist invasion.
It's not even secession of territory. It's like prior agreements that neither party has held on to. The real Ukrainian...
I'm sorry, we had prior agreements before Minsk agreements.
That's false equivalence.
Referring to agreements where it obviously benefited Russia more
Yeah, it was coercion.
as the agreements that we should stick to, rather than the agreements that we had decades before that was fair on all accounts.
Hassan's response to this video was to lie, claim that it's out of context, say that it never happened.
Those of you said, Chad, has he responded to Dylan Burns' post, by the way, before getting clapped? If you think that I would entertain such a psychotic thing ever in my life, I don't know what to tell you.
How is having actual Ukrainians engage with your arguments psychopathic? It's objectively good for the online conversation. He says that it's bad because they disagree with him.
There is nothing more perverted and psychopathic than literally putting Ukrainian people in Ukraine that are being bombed, okay, by an invading force that is unjustifiably occupying their country, making Ukrainians sit down and watch my clips out of fucking context in a way that you have framed it to have them go, oh wow, how fucked up this guy.
Sound familiar? I repeat, the only person taking Hassan out of context is Hassan when he's defending himself. He does the same thing with his inbred comment.
I should go to the old city so I can get my fucking shit pushed in by some of the most inbred fundamentalist hicks.
No, it's not illegal. It's not.
Just talking about Jews. Would it be wrong? Would this guy think that it was... Oh, he probably...
Wait, no, I'm talking about the ultra-Orthodox settlers. What the who would disagree with that? What do you mean? Like, he says, talking about Jews. Nice, dude.
If you go back to his stream on June 6th, Hassan is talking to Israeli chatter about visiting Israel.
Yeah, where is that chatter? He was like, come to Israel. It's so beautiful here. You will see the conflict from my eyes. Yeah. I should go to the old city so I can get my fucking shit pushed in by some of the most inbred fundamentalist hicks.
When he says the old city, I assume he means Jerusalem. Many Jews live there legally. I don't know. He never clarifies. Hassan does not clarify once that he meant only settlers. Then he calls Israel Nazi Germany and says if he goes there, he'll be executed.
Brother, I am not going to Nazi Germany, okay? I hope you understand this. And I mean this with all sincerity and with all disrespect. Brother, I'm not going to Israel so you can execute me, okay?
We're having a conversation about Israel in general. Am I supposed to read your mind that you meant settlers? Because you didn't say it. He's making up context that didn't exist in the conversation. I went on to point out Hassan's hypocrisy when defending China's invasion of Tibet for their inferior culture.
China's
Done with
always
the express
taken more
effort
land.
with the
Tibet, Taiwan.
Tibet was literally a feudal slave mandate like
So
autonomous zone.
China did them a favor.
That was one. I mean, in America, when I say something like this, people get very upset. You know, we talk about the Dalai Lama saying "suck my tongue" or whatever, but like that's not far from the norm in normal Tibetan existence before the Communist Party came in.
The same thing Asman said about Palestine. He says China's imperialism is good because they focus on taking over the
Formerly enslaved Tibetan people working alongside the Maoist militias to liberate their own fucking non-autonomous region that has historically been on and off a part of the Chinese empire is not saying that the Tibetan culture is inferior. What the are you talking about?
You're saying since they use feudalism, that justifies China taking over the land, killing 82,000 people. 1.2 million since their occupation. 1 out of every 6 Tibetans. China then settled the land en masse, separating 1 million children from their parents, put them into Chinese state-run boarding schools in an attempt to quelch the culture. It's similar to Asman justifying Israel's attacks on Gaza, saying that they're religious fundamentalists that execute gay people.
Not supporting a group of people that would, kill a gay person or a trans person for existing. I'm not going to support that group of people in any context. These people would be the ones doing the genociding if they had the power.
Like saying they're inferior, saying they're evil to justify the death and destruction that befalls them is so horrifying.
Hassan never engages with the argument, he just downplays it like, oh yeah, China, yeah, they're not great.
The current Chinese rulership over Tibet is not exactly great. Slavery and feudalism is not a fundamental part of Tibetan culture.
I did not argue that slavery was culture. I said that doesn't justify China's takeover, settlement, and brutality of the people. Hassan doesn't engage with that and just repeats that I love slavery.
That's crazy, by the way. Like, slavery is not someone's culture, man. What the like, what are we talking about?
He compares the annexation of Tibet to the American Civil War.
And the example I used here was actually so good. not to, you know, hype myself up, but it is directly the same as like the American government during the time of slavery engaging in the fucking Civil War.
The North attacked the South because they were trying to succeed from the Union. It wasn't about slavery until 2 years into the war. Tibet was its own independent country. It's not the same at all. But hey, high school level education here, owning the political pundits, it sounds impressive, but it's not. When I show the death toll from China's imperialism, Bad Empanado waffles about Asman, never getting to the point.
So Asmongold said that Palestinians deserve to be genocided because they have an inferior culture, because genocide is literally baked into their laws. That's
Hassan just gets up and leaves.
Tibet was a country that had slavery.
And with Hassan gone, Bad Empanado avoids all the points I was making and just repeats that I think slavery is good.
I do not give a shit about preserving the culture of like a tiny slave-owning elite anywhere in the world. Do you? I would hope not.
Again, no, but I don't think that justifies them being systematically destroyed and settled. Just like how I don't like Hamas, but that doesn't mean I want all Palestinians to suffer. They laugh and act as if I didn't point out a real hypocritical view that Hassan has, like I made no argument.
Why can you actually respond to him?
Wait, why doesn't he? You know what? Bad Empanada raised a good point. Why doesn't he ever actually counter anything I'm saying? If you, on the other hand, watch this and you were like, yeah, I don't really know about this Hassan guy, I kind of don't understand it, maybe you would be like geared towards hating me, I guess. Not trolling, but I don't get the Tibet stance. If you're against imperialism, should be against Chinese imperialism. Okay, we'll get back to the Tibet issue in a little bit. Okay, please.
Meanwhile, Hassan's still arguing with his chat about my Tibet point. Your audience seemed to think it was a pretty good point, so much so that he gets right on the edge of agreeing with me.
That's crazy, by the way. Like, slavery is not someone's culture, man. What the like, what are we talking about? The Tibet take is unacceptable. You can't ignore the forced Hanification of the Tibetan people, same as Xinjiang. Hundreds of thousands of people were forcibly displaced. Tibetans have a right to self-determination. British also used the caste in India as a justification for the empire. No, you're misunderstanding my position. The continued Hanification is unacceptable. These two things can be true at the same time.
If the occupation and Hanification of Tibet is wrong, then why don't you criticize China the same way as Israel? They never engaged with that point because if he did, he'd have to acknowledge that my America bad criticism of him holds some weight. Instead, just say I'm pro-genocide. That'll do it. I don't understand how you can be pro-Palestine and then support Russia and China. Israel's neighbors with Gaza. Does that make what they're doing okay? No, of course not.
Do you think it's okay? Have you ever made a video denouncing it? It seems like instead of actually denouncing it, you just attack people who are against it. I wonder why that is. I wonder why you are so extremely laser focused on that. It's almost like you support the genocide and you're too fucking cowardly to say so.
It's true. Israel was about to stop the war and then they watched my YouTube videos. Hassan's nodding. Hassan repeated a very similar sentiment when Muda called him out. You can't criticize Hassan because he criticizes Israel.
I will never forget these monstrous pieces of for looking at a situation like the one happening, the one unfolding in Gaza, and choosing to never say anything about it, only to then make these drama videos to call out the people who call out the Israeli government. It is disgusting.
What, you're allowed to lie, slander people, and make up your own misinformation just because you criticize Israel? Who's buying this? There are tons of creators who talk about Palestine that I don't criticize. You are the only one who is this bad at covering the news. If Hassan was pro-Israel, I guarantee I could make the exact same videos. I criticized Hassan on buddying up with the terrorists rather than asking real questions. They're just like One Piece.
We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do. You should tell him that.
But one of his viewers would point this out, and Hassan would tell him to shut up.
Maybe explain why you're trying to get this type of humanizing information from. Okay, shut up, chatter. Come on, it's not. That's great. What does he have to say to dumbass? Yeah. Why am I humanizing? Why am I humanizing a 19-year-old who's only known genocide his entire life?
No, bro. Why are you greenlighting the Houthis' mission and comparing it to One Piece while ignoring proper questions so you could ask about KFC?
Ask him if he would stop going on boats if Israel stops the genocide. I mean, yeah, he's gonna say yes, chat. What are you talking about? Those are like dumbass questions. Has he ever had like Western food? Oh, they do have KFC in Yemen?
I wonder if it's like, I feel like it's off.
You're like, why would he ask that?
Ask him if he would stop going on boats if Israel stops the genocide. I mean, yeah, he's gonna say yes, chat.
They've already said that. That's why the blockade is being carried out.
Yes, the Houthis as an organization said that. Rashid did not because he wasn't asked. It would still be a good formality to get his position on that. Instead, they act like Hassan never thought he was a Houthi.
If you think a 19-year-old from Yemen is in the cut and is like inside of the inner workings of the Ansar Allah movement, I don't know what to tell you. You're a idiot. You know what I mean? It's like interrogating your 19-year-old cousin about what Trump is going to do next.
I want to go through this one more time because I now have the full story. Before the interview, Hassan thought Rashid was a Houthi.
Bro, are we about to have a Houthi rebel on stream? Yes, brother. What do you mean? Excuse me? Of course I'm about to have a... I'm a journalist, okay? This is journalism.
During the interview, Hassan asked if he was a Houthi, but Rashid gave him an indirect answer. In fact, Rashid gave the same indirect answer so many times, Hassan speculated that he was media trained.
I don't know if he is allowed to speak on this. I don't know if he's like actually a part of the groups at all, or just like simply a TikToker. You know what I mean? I don't know how to ask that in the best way possible, though.
Yeah, I feel like we can ask it pretty directly. His answer is he's a Yemeni who stands with Palestine.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's very media trained, surprisingly, but okay.
And after the interview was over, Hassan still thought he interviewed a terrorist, defending himself by saying CNN interviews terrorists all the time.
Even if you don't agree with him, there is genuine value in understanding what his worldview is, where he's coming from, why he's doing the shit that he's doing. If you don't want to understand that, you're just intellectually an incurious person, okay? And many people are genuinely intellectually incurious people. CNN literally fucking gets to interview Taliban leaders and even members of Al-Qaeda, which these guys are not like at all, for the record. I am just mentioning that specifically to show you that, like, this is what the job of like media is supposed to be.
LSF talked about how Hassan interviewed a terrorist, and he acknowledged, even my haters gotta think it's awesome.
Look at this, top of LSF. Hassan is currently live streaming with an actual Houthi terrorist, according to the US government. That's awesome. Keep fucking LARPing. Even my haters gotta fucking actually recognize that it's fascinating to be able to do that.
Hassan was getting a lot of heat for the interview. It wasn't until a chatter defended him that Hassan considered that Rashid might not be Houthi.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know if he's a Houthi or not personally. Like, he didn't say any of that shit. He just said he's a teenager in Yemen.
They have since completely recontextualized the entire interview. Rashid wasn't talking about hostages. He was talking about a TikTok video he saw.
First of all, this dude, Rashid, there's no evidence that he actually linked up with any captain whatsoever, especially considering that he's saying the captain is Chinese. There is no Chinese captain. What we found out was that there's an older video that he probably saw that he was talking about where I don't even know if it's from Yemen or not, where they're like, you know, a bunch of captain, I think a Bulgarian captain's like chewing cot or something. I think this was the OG video. Yeah, it was this video. Yeah. It's from literally March 27th, 2022.
Before the ship was ever captured. Why would Rashid be talking about this video? It was translated that poorly. Was this guy just riffing? But even if it was interpreted and translated as if he was talking about the hostages, and Hassan was pogging out.
Does he know what has happened to any of the crews? Like, I heard they tried cat. They're having a good time. Are they okay?
He's saying they've all tried COT, including the captain of the ship that he went on. He's saying that the vibes are immaculate.
No fucking way.
He's saying that they win over the crews on these ships, and they like win them over with their charm, and they make them hate America and the US government.
That's so funny.
The crux of the criticism isn't Rashid being a terrorist, it's Hassan glazing what he thought was a terrorist. Hassan knows it wasn't a good interview, that's why he's retconned it to, oh, if I thought he was a Houthi, I would have conducted myself differently.
How was the Yemeni kid not connected to the Houthis, and does it even matter if he was? Not only does it not matter to me if he was or not, it would obviously change the dynamic of the interview if he was.
Bro, you thought he was. Now I was shown that sometime after the interview, Rashid was in a Twitter space where he said that he was not a Houthi.
No, I'm just a Yemeni citizen who stands with Palestine.
But meanwhile, on his social media, he's saying that he was a soldier, talking as if he is a Houthi, saying how only the Jews should fear the Houthi, the executions we will carry out on all Zionists, the ships we bombed and sank. To every Zionist, I will put this in your stomach. But forget all that. Willie must only think he's a terrorist because he's racist.
Like, the reason why this guy is being called a terrorist by this guy is because he's Arab. That's literally his criteria to be a terrorist, is to be Arab. He could not explain to you what terrorist attack he's engaged in. He couldn't even explain to you what terrorism the Houthis have supposedly engaged in.
Bad Empanada is going to get Rashad from Yemen to sue me.
I believe his name is Rashid Al-Khalidi. We will crowdfund a GoFundMe so you can sue whichever one of these people you choose. Rashid, my friend from Yemen, you have a chance at a huge payout here, and we will gladly crowdfund you. Pick like the most egregious of them, calling you a terrorist, and let's get them in court trying to justify that label.
Okay, but when I win, I get to keep the knife that Hassan thinks is so cool.
I thought all they did was basically, you know, walk around with like blades in their belts and look cool. I mean, I want to ask him about the knife. The knives are sick.
He says if one of those knives comes out in front of you, it's not going back until it has blood on it.
Oh shit. Okay, my bad. Well, I mean, I think it's cool though.
The reality is, these guys don't have a problem with the Houthi indiscriminately firing at ships, many of which don't have to do with Israel. Quote, over the last dozen or so attacks, there has been no Israeli affiliation at all. Hassan and Bad Empanada justify it because they fully support what they're doing.
Missiles at commercial ships that have nothing to do with their state, no connection to Israel. Do you know that basically like every single ship, every single country in Europe, the US, Canada, Australia, supports Israel? Out the ass, weapons, trade, everything they could ever want. They get it. Diplomatic support, they get it. So just saying the ship has no connection with Israel specifically is an obvious lie, because by proxy, by that, every fucking ship there has a connection to Israel.
The Houthis said they would only attack Israeli-linked ships. How many degrees of separation need to happen before you stop justifying civilians being targeted? They don't do that, but you guys still blindly defend them. You're like their PR team. When they start attacking other commercial vessels indiscriminately, that becomes terrorism. They can't believe I have this stance. One thing I didn't expect was Hassan to die on the hill that he is Anne Frank, and that Anne Frank should have joined the Houthis. I remember Anne Frank being part of a militia group that boarded commercial vessels and took
So if Anne Frank was a part of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, do you think that it would be invalid? If I had the capacity to talk to someone who participated in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, do you feel like that would be inappropriate?
The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising directly fought the Nazis. This is like saying Anne Frank should have raided Chinese vessels going to Portugal. It makes no sense. Taking Filipino crews hostage, I would not support this.
No, the only difference here is that you think brown man bad, brown man terrorist. No, this guy is just, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't understand anything. It is shocking.
He makes the world's dumbest comparison and then calls me racist and stupid. It's everything I've criticized him for over the past year. They get to the part where Rashid says he was a soldier, and they're stunned, and Bad Empanada brings up how Gila's a soldier.
What does it mean if he's a soldier anyway? Let's say that he was a soldier. By the way, Gila Klein said that she was a soldier. So, okay, let's say that he said that he was a soldier. Could you explain how that makes him a terrorist exactly?
One, Gila Klein was part of the IDF. That's irrefutable. What's your point there? And two, the effective governing body in Yemen is the Houthis. So if he's a soldier, yes, that would mean he's a terrorist. They go through all of his anti-Semitic tweets and they rationalize it.
It bears no basis. Again, the leader of the Houthis uttered a slogan during the Second Intifada when he watched a famous video of a Palestinian child dying in front of his father. Like most people know nothing and don't care about contextualizing anything. Of course, it is anti-Semitic, but contextualizing it matters. Yeah, people I think it's like Nicholas Fuentes. You know what I mean? Like they think that like they got a copy of the Elders of Zion and ran along with it.
What's funny is right after Hassan said this, Lonerbox would point out that the Houthis do quote the Elders of Zion in their sermon. The Elders of Zion being fabricated documents about Jews taking over the world. Here's Lonerbox explaining.
No, it's actually almost exactly in part because they take influence from the protocols of the Elders of Zion. Hassan doesn't know that, obviously, or if he does, he's lying about it. When it comes to the Houthis, I'm pretty sure the Houthis have an exact quote of it from one of the sermons. It's so funny that Hassan just opens himself up, like sets himself up to these things. This is one of the passages on the Jews from one of al-Houthi sermons. The Jews know, they know the effect of faith when there is faith in the nation, and they know that if it is established, they were aware of turning us into infidels. They did not want us to be Jews. They said in their documents, called the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, that they did not want Muslims or Christians to be Jews.
Why is he trying to bring this up to dunk on me when he clearly doesn't know? It is a classic Hassan moment.
For a Palestinian to arrive at anti-Semitic opinions, they just see a Star of David on the side of the F-15 that bombs the f***ing school, and they're like, oh my God, I hate whoever is doing this to me.
Rashid's not Palestinian, but I still want to engage. I totally understand how that would make someone anti-Semitic. Just like how I understand how someone from Ukraine may hate all Russians. But also I don't think it's worth the effort rationalizing his post about spiking Jews or shooting them.
All that you can imagine is fighting for like the destruction of the social order so that people are driven to work for Grubhub and deliver you Big Macs for cheaper than they did before. You literally cannot believe that someone would say, yeah, I'm ready to sacrifice myself to fight for a cause bigger than mine, like, you know, against the fucking genocide. To you, this is like self-evidently bad. To a sane human, It is the opposite.
Since this video, Rashid has tweeted out Israel getting nuked, but it's sane according to Bad Empanada, a righteous cause that's bigger than himself. Finally, I make the argument that most Jews are Zionist, and all Zionists are people who believe Israel should exist as a Jewish state. So when you defend a guy who's saying he's going to spike, shoot, and nuke what 90% of Jews believe, it comes off as anti-Semitic. Hassan responds with Zionism means many different things to many different people, and that it means you support the war in Gaza.
Wait, that is 90% status Jewish Israelis? Yes. And even for them, Zionism means something entirely different for many. There are large majorities of Jewish Israelis who are in agreement with the military campaign in Gaza. I am diametrically opposed to that, and I think that that is wrong. And I also personally don't think that that has anything to do with Judaism whatsoever.
I never said the war had to do with Judaism, but Israel existing, Zionism does for most Jews. Hassan doesn't engage, and he just calls me anti-Semitic.
I think it's ridiculous to claim that all Jews actually love that shit, and it's actually unimaginably anti-Semitic, according to the IHRA definitions too, by the way.
This guy just lies and doesn't engage with my video the whole time, and then he calls my video slop.
It's perfectly packaged drama slop. It takes 1 second to lie about a person, especially when there is an overwhelming amount, amount of social conditioning geared in one way, and it takes an hour to fucking break down exactly why this is wrong.
Bro, that's me. You sit there and lie and bring zero receipts. I have to spend hours rewatching the content. He truly is a top-tier propagandist.
I'm a weirdo. Yeah, I'm a weirdo. People looking at me crazy. I don't care though.
I want to talk about something called the Hassan. The Hassan is when somebody doesn't engage with you honestly and they just call you a racist or a Nazi, or my favorite, just blames Destiny. A creator named Adam something criticized the Gravel Institute for making Russian propaganda. In response, the Gravel Institute deleted their video. Hassan really liked that video. Hassan, before even watching Adam's video, would call him a Nazi.
Adam something posted a 40-minute video about how Gravel lies about Azov, so a bunch of Euro sock dems might come in here being fucking annoying. Dude, I'm sorry to say this, but, you know, Europeans and being secret crypto neo-Nazis goes hand in hand sometimes, okay? Europe and pro-NATO Europeans being a fan of Nazis or running defense for Nazis is not exactly news to me, okay? Holy shit.
Adam responded to Hassan, calling him stupid. Hassan then claims Adam can only come to that conclusion if he's racist.
Hassan didn't mean to insult me. He simply reached the narrow limits of his understanding of the world. Dude, I can't do this. The narrow limits. Yeah, dude, just fucking say I'm a Turk roach with a cockroach brain and move on, okay? Yeah, fuck it. I'm saying it, dude, okay? This motherfucker, not exactly out of the alt-right pipeline, okay? Straight up, dude.
Muda criticizes Hassan for pointing out over a terrorist propaganda video, so he implies that Muda is a self-hating Muslim.
Mudahar especially runs with a very weird crowd, and not only does he run with a very weird crowd, he has time and time again tugged on the Hassan heartstrings over and over again with all the other weirdos that he aligns with, and has actively played a role in the we should get Twitch banned, or we should get Hassan deplatformed train. Extra weird considering that he, you know, went to the Hajj. Did the Hajj, went to the Mecca.
No proof that anybody Muda hangs with hates Muslims, just plays a dumb Uncle Tom and move on. That's the Hassan. Nicholas Diorio points out Twitch's inconsistency with enforcing their policies.
They're not people who give a fuck about Angie content. Like, dude, didn't this guy literally used to have like a fucking straight up Nazi program?
He just made up all of that. A website comes out called Twitcher Terrorist, showing how Twitch streamers repeat terrorist talking points. Hassan calls it Islamophobic. How? It has to do with the words you say, not your religion. Nobody could answer me. Hassan blocked me, but then Philly D put me in his video, so he had to respond. He just repeats that it's 2003 again over and over. No real answer.
These are literally 2003. We're back in 2003. These are the most 2003 ass.
JXE criticizes Hassan for leaving a video playing while he goes to the bathroom. Well, that means Jay's a Nazi.
This is what I said 1 fucking year ago. Since then, he made a video, or they made a video. Afterwards, they had like a bunch of fucking Nazis in the kill stream get together and do an 8-hour reaction to my entire stream.
Ethan claims that Hassan harbors anti-Semitism in his audience. Well, he must be compromised by Destiny.
And this has been ongoing for the past year because that community, Boner Chelly's community, is way more predisposed with making a mockery and presenting a false narrative surrounding one of the loudest voices that is pro-Palestinian emancipation than the actual genocide.
Stop hiding behind the bodies of Palestinians to avoid criticism. It's gross. Hassan gets criticized for glazing a guy that he thought was a terrorist. He goes, well, Destiny did it, so why can't I?
Yeah, dude, I know a lot of you would probably much prefer, all of my naysayers would much prefer me having chicken and waffles with a fucking neo-Nazi who is like infinitely more damaging to American politics and also just the world in general. But guess what, dude? You know, I think this is infinitely more valuable, even if you don't agree with his framework, with his perspective.
We didn't get to learn his perspective because your interview was so bad. Nobody is saying you can't interview a Houthi. They're criticizing how you did it. Destiny asked Nick challenging questions and did not endorse anything he stood for. You compared the Houthi movement to happy cartoon pirates. If Destiny called Nick Fuentes Captain America, I would have a problem with that too. Everyone's a Nazi, everyone's racist, everyone's Destiny.
It's okay when it's in a three-way. It's not gay when it's in a three-way.
I also was sent this video, Willie Mack Show, whitewashing genocide. And I'm already doing this, so why not? The video opens up saying I lie about war crimes.
This video will expose how Willie Mack uses his YouTube channel to lie about Gaza, Israeli war crimes, and Zionism.
He defends Hassan, misreporting the Al-Ahi hospital bombing.
Despite what Willie Mack might want to claim, Hassan had every right to not trust Western reporting at the time because they had a track record of covering up Israeli war crimes. And just to give an example, immediately after October 7, news broadcasters like the BBC were called out for describing Israeli casualties as killed, while Palestinians murdered by Israel in cold blood was simply described as deaths.
I don't agree with that, but why would that justify Hassan making up his own story? Hassan was literally making up his own missile analysis.
I do not know if there's a deployment, like an activation that Israeli munitions have that can detonate way before it impacts the ground. And if that is the case, then, you know, it's still on the side of, I still believe that it's most likely an IDF airstrike.
Who is this helping? What good is it adding to the conversation? Let's not act like this can't be critiqued.
Hassan had every right to doubt media reports about the Al-Ahli hospital, considering their track record before and even with hindsight today. And for Willie Mack to cry over Hassan coming to his own conclusions is honestly baffling to me.
He then implies that this news outlet isn't trustworthy because they pointed out that the only source of information on this is from Hamas.
I love that they keep saying Hamas run health ministry, like it's not the fucking health ministry.
But it is run by Hamas. Should they lie?
Well, it seems like Willie Mack didn't even do his own homework, because the article that he showed on screen, it later had Human Rights Watch disprove everything that he claims about the Gaza Health Ministry. We have been monitoring human rights abuses in the Gaza Strip for 3 decades, including several rounds of hostilities. We've genuinely found the data that comes out of the Ministry of Health to be reliable.
At that point in time, there were conflicting reports, so the proper thing to do is to wait for more information. Also, Hassan was the one disagreeing with the Hamas-run health ministry. He said their casualty numbers were too low.
Update from 8 minutes ago. Between 200 and 300 people killed in Gaza hospital airstrike according to Hamas-run health ministry from 1 hour ago. Wait, what? No, the number is like 800 now.
He's doing the Hassan where he's saying Israel did the bombing despite most third-party investigations saying otherwise. What makes you an expert?
That Hassan had every right to be skeptical about whatever Western media or the Israelis claimed, because whether Willie Mack wants to acknowledge it or not, Israel is the aggressor in this entire conflict, not just in Gaza, but in the past 75 years.
If Hassan wants to be skeptical, that's fine, but him saying it 100% for a fact happened and you're a genocidal freak for believing the experts,
you genocidal scumbag!
That is ridiculous and criticizable. There's tons of things to criticize Israel for. Why hinge on this one? He goes after me for saying most Jews are Zionists.
He's suggesting that because 90% of Israeli Jews are Zionists, therefore most Zionists are Jews. But the article only shows that most Israeli Jews support Zionism, not Jews globally. And what's funny is that according to a survey by Israel's Ministry of Diaspora Affairs, it found that not only does 1/3 of American Jewish teens sympathize with Hamas, but 2/3 of Jewish teens in America support the Palestinian cause. While many of these Jews that were interviewed also support Zionism, as what the article later mentioned.
84% think Israel have the right to exist as a Jewish state. That is Zionism. I was 6% off on my American teenager demographic. My bad. Jewish people sympathizing with Palestinians is not mutually exclusive with them being a Zionist. Both can happen. He ends the video making a good criticism of me for going after Hassan laughing at Jewish soccer fans who got beat up.
Children, for the children!
What the what is happening?
Israeli fans are not innocent. They were chanting threats to Arabs, being racist.
They were hooligans who chanted racist slogans such as "Let the IDF win" and "F the Arabs," and there are no schools in Gaza as there are no children in Gaza.
Papa Gut also made this criticism.
I mean, if the story is that there's any group of people that are disrupting like some kind of we'll say prayer circle that mourns the death of children, whatever people did that deserve to be made fun of, no?
If they get their ass beat for being racist and hateful, they deserve it. It was a stupid argument from me, and I don't stand by it. I will remove that section from the video once this is uploaded.
And while one creator isn't afraid of saying the uncomfortable truth, standing up to people who defend war crimes, the other manipulates hundreds or thousands of people to believe otherwise.
Where do I defend a single war crime? I condemn it. I condemn Israel's crimes. Bro, you need a break from the internet if you think critiquing Hassan is the same thing as defending Israel.
I don't know why I feel like shit. I will not see a therapist.
I want to touch on some things that I found funny. Hassan always cries that people are taking him out of context.
Over the course of an 8-hour broadcast, if you look to literally 3 moments,
How come nobody
you can find,
else shut up as much as you did? That does 8-hour broadcast.
Because no one has the most psychopathic fandom like idiots like you.
But he does the same thing to everyone else. He doesn't react to my video, he watches Bad Empanado reacting to it. He doesn't react to Ethan, he watches a Twitter clip or a critical video of Ethan.
Election, which, you know, was perhaps a little bit more significant for someone like myself, a political commentator, and not one that is just LARPing as one for a little bit and crashing the out in the process by regurgitating talking points you're getting from fucking Destiny.
He says all that and then continues to watch a drama video criticizing Ethan instead of just watching Ethan. His audience has pointed this out before.
You're not willing to look up the context of the criticism about you? Do you realistically expect your detractors to do that for you? Yeah, no, I know the context of the criticism because I know where it's coming from. I've heard it a million times over and I've addressed it a million times over. And I think it's bad faith.
It's bad faith, guys, out of context, but everything I watch totally in context and true. I also find it funny that Bad Empanado wants Hassan to copyright strike it.
Hassan should copyright strike this, 100%. He should just copyright strike this. This would not pass in court for fair use.
He's saying this, meanwhile Hassan gets up and walks away while reacting to his video. In conclusion, Hassan's a liar, misinterpreting everybody, including himself, if it means he could dodge accountability. He will pull the race card whenever convenient, even use other people's race cards if he thinks he can use it against them. He's a coward, not willing to stand by any edgy political opinion he has, always retreating to some text or a tweet to avoid being confronted on it, or when in doubt, blame Destiny. Call the person a Nazi. In short, he's exactly who we thought he was. Shocker, if only someone documented this before. WillieMaxShop.com, my politics is common sense. New t-shirt. Go buy one. This gay guy loves it, so you will too. Hassan, I will send you one for free. You need it. Subscribe to the channel. And shout out to the homies over on Patreon. Crips and Glass, Riveter, Christina Vina, Mac Monkey, Drain Kobex, Necro Valley, Stefan Billman, The Confusing Opinion, Eddie Bizzle, Tiz McFitz, Christopher H, TV Anthology Reviews, Hinklemore, Sentinel Music, Lucas If, ET Automatic, Snoopy Poop Poop 2, Amir MLB, Deep Pocket Jew, Rooney Boo, Drew is Sharon, Clown Factory, Monkey D Luffy, August, and the Mega Homies, Reynolds Hughes, Hellison, IGP Your Taxi, Latchkey Gothboy, Cyber Katie, Lore Reloaded, Papa Gut, Caden Luland, BA Subway, Hawk and Load, Derek Do, Kitty Cat, Terra.
Wait, I don't want to attack them though. Dude, really? Hey, fuck him.
Try me.
I mean, you're kidding, right? Maybe. This guy's the GOAT! Okay, hold on. Maybe, oh, Hex first and then damage, because it increases damage, right? Oh, maybe I push him though, yeah. This side doesn't do much. I'm gonna armor up and fuck it. Too easy. Bottle, get that, get that. I mean, I cooked. Now I think we heal again. I think for everybody. Then I use the red button now. All buttons have been pressed. I think we can go back. No, there's a new door here, though, right? Another force. Okay, I'm not getting backseated. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say it's coming. I don't give a fuck about safe's coming.
How many hosts of these gay infected?
Is this the key to the bottom? Is this the key to the bottom, perhaps? Can I go back? It's gonna take a while to go back, no? Wait, it's there? Wait.
Something the matter? Besides the obvious, that is. I'm right back.
What chest, motherfucker? What chest? What chest? Yeah. The one at the bottom. I have to go back down to get there, chat. Wait, where is it then? Oh, it's there. Oh my god, I zoned out.
Something good here, I hope.
Wait, no, that wasn't what I did at all. Oh my god, why did I didn't do that, man? Oh god, that was so useless.
Dazed woman is trapped inside the pod. She doesn't notice you.
Who's been here? What? How? Didn't get the call. Oh, rune!
As you place your hand on the pod, you hear something. A presence connected to the pod, commanding the person inside to change.
What? Huh? It's a boss. Oh, it's a void. It's a void eater.
Changed at the pull of a lever. How? Purified. This may be our fate.
Oh, it transforms humans into its servants.
Before it's our turn. It's already finished.
The newborn mind flayer stares at you, weak and dazed.
Okay. Oh, the sigil.
Perfect. Perfect. Here's something.
The voices, no! Are we inside the ass? Okay, hold on. There's fire here. There's another room.
All things. Wonder what plane they're from. All things. Wonder what plane they're from.
Ass again?
We are nearing the helm. Once inside, do as I say. Who put you in charge? I'll trust my own judgment.
King
Yank.
I'm not gonna say I'm not a bitch. Weak sauce. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Connect the nerves of the transponder.
Is that Yogg Saron? That's Yogg Saron!
Now.
Do it. We will deal with the Geich after we escape.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
This thing's falling fast. Got to right.
See you soon.
Let's do a attack. She has so many spells! Guiding bolt.
Well met. Go with honor, friend.
Chat, is that good? I mean, you're kidding, right? What is it? What is this? My luck today, man.
I will not know failure.
How? I mean, you're kidding. I mean, you're just kidding. Okay, well, I mean, whatever, dude.
Stand in my way.
Have a good. Oh, poison. 60%. Wait a minute. Huh? No, no. Fire damage.
I will ascend.
Good.
Can't even catch my breath.
Come on, this has to kill, right? No way it doesn't kill. Bing! My character is...
No time for mercy.
He's the weakest of everybody else. Critical miss. Okay, cool.
Victory awaits.
Hold on. Get lacerated.
I will not know failure.
Good. Good.
Time to push my luck again.
Alright, come on. For the first time, get us a one tapper. Boom! Oh.
Nearly out of sky.
Okay.
Your time has come.
That's good! So... Now what?
Heading there. Swift and lethal.
So... Do we just move?
Taking position. Taking a look.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Should I not loot? A lot of loot here, guys.
Best be on my way.
Okay. I know who I want to win. It's green, so is this an ally? What a bitch, dude.
Ignore the devil. We must take the transponder.
No! 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 Radio transporter before 11 turns remaining. No, I'm not. I know bitch ass, man. I'm not no bitch. Where is it at? I'm gonna send one guy to go. Okay, where's the transpondent? Because I don't know where's the transpondent?
Moving.
So, do I even bother attacking it? Level 1 spell slot. Dash. That's good, right?
Swift and lethal.
What? Oh, so you're gonna heal the one person then, I guess, yeah.
Hurry before they strike.
Well, I'm trying as best as I can, buddy.
Where do I go from here?
Oh, I guess we could just move, right? How do I cancel this?
It's too far away. That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready yet.
Move. Then dash. No! Down. There's 0 point. They're down. They're not dead. So.
Taking position.
What? Dude, that's so dumb.
Another step forward.
No! They're gonna melee me. Whoa, 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 whoa!